What is up, people of the stream? Andrew Erickson here, fantasy football analyst over at Pro Football Focus. Going to be here with you guys for the next hour or so, doing start sits, breaking everything down, talking about my start sit article over on pff.com, hitting you up with the news and notes from today from injuries, a lot of NFL action. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun again. I'm Andrew Erickson. I'm on Twitter at Andrew Erickson _. You can find all my work over at profootballfocus.com. Just dropped recently today, the Stardom Situm article. Tons of great content in there, so you can go check that out. But I'll be reviewing a ton of what's already in that article here on this live stream. So make sure you tune in the entire show, even for a little bit. Make sure you ask a question. And also highlighting some things, taking care of business. Super Chats has been turned on, giving anyone the opportunity to donate to the GoFundMe to support the Mike Tagliere family. All proceeds will be donated from our live streams, or they can find a direct link to the GoFundMe in the video description. We will also post a direct link to the fundraiser in the YouTube chat. And also, we're doing a live giveaway this Sunday, October 3rd, during the 12 p.m. Eastern kickoff live stream right here on the Fantasy Pros channel. It's courtesy of our friends over at pristineauction.com. One lucky subscriber will receive an autographed Alvin Kamara New Orleans Saints jersey. How do you enter? It's simple. Subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube before 12 p.m. Eastern Sunday live stream. Ask a fantasy-related question in the YouTube chat during the show. That's it. We'll announce a winner at the end of the stream, so you can make sure to stick around to claim your prize. All right. Now we're taking care of business. Let's get into the business of starting and sitting players this week. Joe Burrow. Start Joe Burrow. I'd like him a lot in this matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know he's kind of been middling as a quarterback option for fantasy football to start the year. Hasn't done a ton, but remember, he was coming back from the ACL injury. So I think that he's looked a lot better. Like, he was running around last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers, which I was honestly surprising. The Jacksonville Jaguars posed zero threat to Joe Burrow. The Jaguars ranked 30th in yards per pass attempt and 32nd in PFF pass rush grade. So they're not going to be able to rush him. He's going to have plenty of time in the pocket to throw the ball. So I think that Joe Burrow will be absolutely fine in this matchup. I think he's going to be a top 12 option this week. So if you're looking for a streamer, I know he got dropped in a lot of leagues. I like Joe Burrow as a play. You can go get him off the waiver wire or start him off the bench. Look, he was PFF's highest graded quarterback last week. So bodes well for him here in this matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Next, for news and notes, Will Fuller. Yes, Will Fuller, the often injury-plagued wide receiver, is back at practice. It's absolutely great. Will Fuller was somebody that I highlighted in my Stardom Situm column. I think that you can start Will Fuller this week. I know it's crazy to think about, but we got a lot of great usage from him last week. It was one of those situations where you didn't want to play Will Fuller last week because you had no idea what his role was going to be. But at the same time, you don't want him to just go absolutely nuclear and then you play him the next week and then he just busts. So we didn't see that last week. We saw just good usage. He led the Miami Dolphins in air yards. He saw 8 targets, 69% snap share. So a lot of good peripheral metrics about Will Fuller. He had 2 end zone targets. He should have caught a touchdown from Jacoby Brissett. Kind of went right through his hands. It wasn't a drop because I don't think it actually hit his hands, but he should have caught it. I expect big things from him against the Indianapolis Colts. I think that these Dolphins wide receivers could do a lot of damage. The Colts have given up the most passing touchdowns this year, the highest touchdown rate to opposing quarterbacks this season. So if you need a high upside play, if you're if you're looking at your flex position and you are deciding between middling running backs, hey, take a shot on Will Fuller. I like the matchup here. I know he's ECR. He's outside the top 50. I have him way higher than that. I have him as a top 35 wide receiver. I think he's a wide receiver 3 this week. So go get some Will Fuller, trade for him. I think that he's in a good spot this week to deliver fantasy goodness. Other injury notes, the Giants wide receivers are continuously banged up. Got Darius Slayton, who's missing practice. Sterling Shepard's missing practice. So I think this locks in Kenny Golladay as someone that you're going to start. Pretty much, again, you're not crazy about it, but he's still been seeing a ton of end zone targets in that offense. He's the alpha wide receiver in that offense without Shepard, without Darius Slayton involved. So it's him. It's going to be Colin Johnson probably playing a little bit, and Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney ran the second most routes on the team last week because Kenny Golladay was on a pitch count. So again, maybe more DFS options for those other guys, but Golladay is still a solid wide receiver 3 play. He's got more ups. He's going to find the end zone eventually. And I know the Saints have Marshall Lattimore, who is going to probably match up with Kenny Golladay. So you don't love how efficient he'll be, but he's going to get targeted in this game. And he's a guy who wins those battles. He's a contested catch savant. So I think that Kenny Golladay can be a solid option with just how banged up the Giants are. The target's got to go somewhere, folks. And Daniel Jones and the way the Saints operate, their AR pass funnel defense, their run defense is so good that they're going to have to force Daniel Jones to throw the football. It's going to go to Kenny Golladay, and maybe some of these tertiary receivers like a Colin Johnson, like a Kadarius Toney, can be useful in DFS because they are very, very cheap. And if Galladay's occupied with Lattimore, you might get some good matchups with those other players. Antonio Gibson was sidelined on Thursday's practice. Not much details about this. It could be just like a rest day for him. I know he's been dealing with a couple different things here and there. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I think he's going to be fine. And yeah, you're going to start him against the Atlanta Falcons. A very good matchup. The Falcons are not a good run defense, not a good defense in general. So I like Antonio Gibson. He's explosive. We saw that with his 73-yard touchdown catch on a screen, took it to the house. Absolutely electric with the ball in his hands. He actually dropped another touchdown that he would have had out of the backfield. I get it's frustrating that he's not seeing all the playing time and that J.D. McKissic is involved, but even as like an early down runner, he's still super efficient, and he should be able to expose a very weak Atlanta Falcons defense. Giovanni Bernard remains sidelined. Rob Gronkowski remains sidelined. Rob Gronkowski's playing. Like, don't worry about it. Like, there's no way in the universe that he's going to miss this game against the Patriots. Sorry, like it's just not going to happen. He's definitely going to play. So just fire up Gronk. Like Gronk, Antonio Brown is back to practice. Like those guys are going to score touchdowns in this game. You know, it's the ultimate revenge game for Tom Brady. He's going to target his guy. Like he and Gronk have scored so many freaking touchdowns. I know. Like I know that Gronk and Brady have scored so many touchdowns at Gillette Stadium, and you know Gronk wants to Gronk spike it wicked badly as a Buccaneer. So that's going to happen. They're going to find the end zone. Same thing with Antonio Brown, who is technically an expatriate for one game. So I like both those guys. You're going to start them across all formats. Giovanni Bernard, though, I would say I don't think he's going to suit up. I think that, you know, whenever we get the day-to-day type of designation, that really means they're going to be out for like a week or two. You know, day-to-day means week to week, and week to week means like a month. Like that's kind of what I've kind of picked up, just kind of reading between the lines with some of these injury reports for many years. That's kind of what I found out. So I think we're going to see more of Leonard Fournette. I think Fournette's going to be a solid start this week because the Patriots are not going to they don't want to get beat by the pass. Like they're going to invite Brady to run, and Brady's going to probably be stubborn about it, but eventually he's going to have to just let them run the football a little bit. So I don't think that Fournette's a bad play because Fournette's going to take over the pass catching work over Giovanni Bernard on third downs. It's not going to be Ronald Jones. So more pass catching work for Fournette is good for his upside. And he started last week. So I'd like Fournette in this matchup because, yeah, I think Bernard is going to be out. Lamar Jackson's dealing with an injury, but I think it's nothing serious, so I wouldn't be worried about that. DeAndre Hopkins returned to practice on Thursday with his rib injury. Again, it's just like a veteran rest day. He's banged up a little bit, and I don't know if that's really what's going on with why his production has been like so poor. I mean, he does a 17% target share, which is not great. It's outside the top 50 at the wide receiver across all players. And it's because they're using more of the other options. Like it's always been the Hopkins show whenever he's been on offense, but now they're using Rondell Moore. They're using Chase Edmonds. They're using Christian Kirk. They're using AJ Green. Like he actually has like legitimate competition now that he has never really had before. It's usually been like Will Fuller for like half a season, and then there's nobody else to throw the ball to, and then DeAndre Hopkins gets a 30% target share. That's not been the case this year. So his numbers have suffered as a result. So I don't have him as a wide receiver one this week, again, especially due to the matchup. I mean, the Rams, he was held in check against the Rams the last 2 weeks, or the last two games he played last year. So it's not a high upside play for Hopkins. You're still going to start him as a high-end wide receiver too. But yeah, I think you need to kind of temper expectations with Hopkins right now, at least until we know that he's like 100% healthy, because he is playing a little banged up. LaShawn McCoy announced his retirement. Pour one out for Shady McCoy with the cut on a dime. That's his Twitter handle. Cut on a dime 25. Absolutely electric. DeAndre Swift going to get more carries. It's pretty crazy that he's the RB3 in PPR and he's like not even leading his team in snaps played. So Swift, you are feeling great if you have DeAndre Swift on your team, and if you can acquire him and trade. If someone just doesn't realize what they have with Swift, like jump on that. Like be aggressive. Try to buy DeAndre Swift. I mean, the dude has just been an absolute monster in the passing game, super efficient on the ground. So buy DeAndre Swift. Yeah, like he's a guy. We always talk about sell high, buy low, but there are situations where you want to buy high and DeAndre Swift is one of them. He's worth a lot, and I would be willing to pay a lot to get him. Only other thing I'll mention, so Gerald Everett was put on the COVID-19 list, putting his status in doubt for Sunday's game. What I would say is DFS option or just tight end, you're desperate. Will Dissly. Like Will Dissly was a top 5 tight end in 2019 with Russell Wilson when he was the starting tight end for that team until he got hurt. So Will Dissly is a pickup option. If you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing at tight end, look, you can do way worse than having the tight end attached to Russell Wilson in a high scoring environment. It's probably what you actually want. And because there is no Everett, they're not eating into each other's touches and targets and snaps. Like Will Dissly was kind of splitting time with Everett. Everett started to pull away a little bit the last couple of weeks. Now, Will Dissly will then kind of operate in that starting tight end role. So I do like Dissly as a pickup option. Actually, I'll mention this as well. Julio Jones didn't practice on Wednesday. His question or his availability is kind of in doubt. And you don't really want to pick up any of the receivers like Chester Rogers, Nick Westbrook. I wouldn't necessarily lean towards those guys just because I think it's just going to become the Derrick Henry show and they're just going to run the ball like 50 times against the Jets. That's probably what they're going to do. So in DFS, it's interesting. It's like a punt play to go down one of these like ancillary Titans wide receivers, and I would go with Chester Rogers in that case, but you're not starting these guys in any like traditional format. It's too fringy of a play. Like we don't know how they're going to use the tight ends a little bit, and they're probably just going to run the football a lot. So, all right, let's dive into some of these questions first, and then I'll hop back into my start sit again. You can go check that out over at pff.com. First up the bat, Trevor Boyle, flex play, Robert Woods or Mike Davis. Going Robert Woods. Bruno Jacobs, Lawrence or Fields. I'm going to go with Justin Fields. I know it sounds gross, and I apologize for hyping up Fields last week. It was, in his range of outcomes, again, you can always have a game that a player just totally busts, but it just was the worst of the worst situations for Fields. So, yeah, I don't like Lawrence. I would wait it out. I know, obviously, we don't know if Fields is even going to start in this game, but he's playing the Lions. This is the bounce back game of the century. It's what you want every single, Aaron Rodgers has a bad week 1, plays the Lions, and then is a top 5 quarterback. Like, that's just kind of what happens. So I would still go with Fields there. Lawrence has just been really, he has not been good at all. And we've had a larger sample size of him just not being very good to start the year. And the Bengals defense is not bad. Like, contrary to popular belief, they've actually been pretty solid so far this year. Samuel A. hurting at wide receiver. You need to start 3 of the following half-point PPR: Pittman, Woods, Rondale Moore, Jacoby Myers, Tyler Boyd, and Cole Beasley. All right, so I'm definitely going to start Tyler Boyd because there is no T. Higgins. So I do like him as an option. So I'll go with Tyler Boyd there. Next would be Rondale Moore. Robert Woods. I know he struggled, but he plays in a really good offense, and they're going to score a ton of points. So I like Robert Woods as that number 2 guy. And then out of Pittman, Rondale Moore, Jacoby Myers. I think that I'll probably lean towards Cole Beasley. He's just super, super consistent. That's who I have probably ranked the highest. I do also like Jacoby Myers as well, but I'll lean towards Cole Beasley there. Greg Monroe, Terrace Marshall, Rondale Moore, full point PPR. Man, I got good vibes about Terrace Marshall this week. We saw his role expand last week on Thursday night against the Texans, and I could only see it growing more with the injury to Christian McCaffrey, the matchup. I'll go with Terrace Marshall there. Let's roll. Lewis, Caliste, OBJ, or Hubbard flex. OBJ. Oh, man. OBJ is... Okay, I'll just get into it. OBJ is in the start and sit him this week. He is a start. You want to start Odell Beckham Jr. across all formats. Like, some of these guys I just have conviction about. It's like... And if you ask me OBJ, I'm just going to it may even not be necessarily that way in my rankings. Like, they can be pretty close, but any OBJ questions are going to be like, yes, like start Odell Beckham Jr. 31% target share last week, 49% air yard share, both of which were top 8 at the wide receiver position. It's impressive. 64% snap share last week. That was it. So yeah, no Jarvis Landry. Vikings have allowed the 5th most fantasy points to wide receivers and 31st in explosive pass play rate allowed this season. So I'm going to go with OBJ in that scenario. Batmac Gaming, thank you for the donation. Would you trade Jonathan Taylor and CD for Tyreek Hill and Damian Harris? I got Mahomes and Eckler on my squad. That is a interesting trade. Yeah, I think that is solid. If you got Mahomes, Yeah, I would go after Tyreek Hill. He's kind of like you're kind of doing a buy low with some other kind of like buy low players. I know Damian Harris's matchup is brutal this week, but his schedule lightens up significantly after the Bucks game. So he may not do much this week, but I do like him as an option. So I like that trade. JG, should I start Boyd or Chase Edmonds full point PPR? Gonna go with Tyler Boyd. Casey Burkle, Emmanuel Sanders, or Jacoby Myers for full point PPR flex. To go with Jacoby. I like Jacoby. Like Jacoby has to catch a touchdown eventually. Like it has to happen. And the Bucks are a pass funnel defense. Their secondary is not that great. They're really banged up. They just signed Richard Sherman, so that kind of tells you the status of their defense. They're just like teams cannot run the football on them. Teams have to throw. So Myers is the target cheerleader for the Patriots. Emmanuel Sanders obviously had a big game last week. But I feel like you're chasing a little bit, and I've been way off with Emmanuel Sanders seemingly every single time. So, but I'll go with Jacoby Myers. That was AZ. PPR, Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts. I love the PPR questions with quarterbacks. It's always my favorite. I will go. I'm in a similar situation here. I actually got offered a trade. Somebody asked for Trey Sermon for Lamar Jackson straight up for me. I was like, I'll take Lamar Jackson. Like, I don't really need Trey Sermon on that team. So I have Jalen Hurts as my quarterback. And if I add Lamar, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I have two good quarterbacks now that I can kind of play the matchups. And yeah, for that, I'm playing Hurts. Like, Lamar is playing the Broncos. Lamar's only been the top 12 quarterback once this year, and it was against the Chiefs. So I'm going to play the Hurts. Lamar Jackson has a much tougher match against the Broncos. Carter Payne, pick 2 PPR, Jamar Chase, Robert Woods, OBJ, Renfro, Chase, and OBJ. Daniel Brown, Metcalf, Williams, and who else? Thielen or Chase? I'm going with Chase. Like Chase is literally on fire right now. He is hashtag Enfuego. You got to keep playing him, especially with no Higgins. Like his target share has not been that high, but his efficiency is kind of off the charts. So even if his efficiency comes down, we're going to see him still command a solid chunk of targets in his offense without Higgins available. Chelo, Ogata, Claypool, or Patrick in the flex. I'm still going to go with Claypool if one of the Steelers receivers is not there. So if Deontay and or / Juju is not playing, then you want to start Claypool. If that's not the case, if they're both back, I would play Tim Patrick. Thank you, Zach K, for your donation. Your question is Darrell Henderson or Chuba Hubbard. I'm going to go with Chuba Hubbard. Thank you, Rubio, for your donation. Sam Darnold or Ryan Tannehill. I have Fields. Also probably drop him, redraft league. I mean, I wouldn't drop Fields if you can. I mean, if you have to pick up one of those quarterbacks to start, then yeah, I would do it. And in that case, I think I have them ranked back to back. I just want to see Fields against the Lions. I want to see Fields against a defense that's not like has Myles Garrett on. Like that's kind of what I'm just really interested to see. I have Ryan Tannehill one spot ahead of Sam Darnold. If you want to need a tiebreaker, if Tannehill doesn't have Julio or AJ Brown, I'm kind of like, all right, I'll probably go Sam Darnold there. So be fluid with that decision. I have Tannehill one spot ahead of Sam Darnold, but yeah, I think you can probably roll with those guys over Justin Fields. Hal Ruddock, start 2, Odell Beckham, Marvin Jones, Mike Davis, Odell Beckham and Marvin Jones. Luis Acevedo, Boyd or Robert Woods, half point PPR. Oh, this one's close. I know I have them closely ranked to each other. I think I'm going with Woods. It's probably like back to back. Where are they? No, it's Boyd. Yes, it's Boyd. Yeah, because I guess I'll go with Boyd. Boyd has had the target share in his favor, and when in doubt, you got to look at who's getting the targets. And Woods, we're all kind of expecting him to all right, like he's gonna get targets finally, but Boyd has already been getting them. Boyd has led the team in target share. Without T. Higgins, 36% last week. So I'll go with Tyler Boyd. It's a good matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Sean Knox, full point PPR, flex position, Robert Woods, Myles Gaskin, or Michael Pittman Jr. That is a tough one. Michael Pittman I don't like that much because Miami has good corners. I know he's getting a ton of targets in that offense. I think I might just prefer Gaskin overall just because I think that those receivers are kind of wishy-washy. I got Woods ranked highest, but I'm going to go with Gaskin. He's a running back, gets touches. So I think that Jacoby can move the ball on this team. So I'm going to go with Myles Gaskin. All right. Daniel Callahan, half point PPR, flex, Tim Patrick or Jalen Waddle, double flex league. Whoa, double flex. Jalen Waddle. Ryan W., Devontae Smith or Zach Moss. Phone Zach Moss. I think that he's a very, very good play this week. I guess I'll talk about him in the start sit because he was a start for this week. Zach Moss. Why do I like Zach Moss? Because he has only Derrick Henry has more carries inside the 10-yard line than Moss does over the last 2 weeks. He scored 3 touchdowns. The Bills are 16.5-point favorites at home. They're going to crush the Houston Texans. That means they're going to score a ton of touchdowns. And unless Josh Allen scores all of them, Zach Moss is going to score some. So that's what he's been doing the last 2 weeks. He's fallen in the end zone. He's actually was efficient as a rusher last week. He was PFF's 8th highest graded rusher, 78.0. He's 18th in expected fantasy points over the past 2 weeks. He's been a top 20 running back for 2 straight weeks. So yeah, I feel good about rolling him out there. Devontae Smith has been up and down. I know that the rhetoric is they got to throw against the Chiefs, but Hurts has not been efficient, so I'm not as super excited about starting Devonta Smith. Josie, Pacheco, Jacoby Myers, or DJ Chark, flex. I'm going with Jacoby Myers. Manuel, the targets are there. I just like Chark is getting air yards, but Jacoby Myers is seeing the targets in that offense. Manuel Ferreira, full point PPR, Jamar Chase, McLaurin, or Curtis Samuel, or Debo Samuel. I think this is Debo Samuel. Yeah, and man, that one's tough. I'm benching Chase, unfortunately. I don't want to do that, but I have to, so I'm going to McLaurin and Debo Samuel. Manuel Ferreira, full point PPR, Chase. Oh, that's the same question. Dougie, Pittman, or Patrick, half point PPR. I'm going to go with Michael Pittman there. Daniel Cui, Bilo, and T. Higgins, or A.J. Brown? Yes to both of those questions. Taylor G, Chase Edmonds, or Hollywood Brown flex? Please, need you here. I'm going to go Chase Edmonds. Thank you, Dan O'Reilly, for your donation. Your question. Quarterback room is weak. Start Tannehill or pick up. Start Darnold, Dallas, Brissett, Colts, or Heineke. I would just play Tannehill. Danny Trittler, Kittle. Play Tannehill if he has Julio Jones. If he doesn't, then I would pick up Sam Darnold. Kittle or Gronk? Kittle. From Danny Trill. Jack Lamey, Mixon, Carson, Zach Moss, Pollard, pick 2. Mixon, Carson. Montez Bingham, and Allen Robinson or Marvin Jones? Allen Robinson. Greg Brugg, Jacoby Myers or Jalen Waddle? Man, you guys are giving me these tough questions. I freaking love it. Absolutely love it. Let me see. Myers. This one's a tough one. Myers or Waddle? I got Myers just ahead of Waddle. We'll go with Myers. K-Tip USMC. Who should I start? Gainwell or Michael Carter? It's rough. I guess Michael Carter. The Jets are playing. Oh, they're playing the Titans. Yeah, they're playing a bad team. So yeah, I would start them. Gainwell's yeah. I would definitely start Michael Carter there. Gainwell's just like too much of a ancillary piece right now. And Michael Carter's like kind of been more featured than he's at least getting like the starting carries, and Tevin Coleman kind of seems like he's just no longer involved. So I'll go with Michael Carter there. Christopher Henrickson, half one PPR, Antonio Brown, DJ Moore, Ayuk, Devontae Parker, start 3. Easy. Antonio Brown, DJ Moore, Ayuk. Ooh, Ayuk and Parker. See, that looked easy because it's like Ayuk has been a monster. Yeah, I'm going Ayuk. Ayuk's playing Seattle. They're terrible. And he finally got his routes run back up. Snaps went back up last week. It looks like he's officially out of the Kyle Shanahan doghouse. So love to see that there with Brandon Ayuk. What's next here? David Dressen, trade Robinson for Montgomery. 100%. People watching this right now, if you own James Robinson, like David Dressen does, trade for David Montgomery. You got to do that right now. All right. Green Bay, GB10X, Washington, or Denver defense. I'm going to go with the Denver defense. Actually, Washington's playing Atlanta. Matt Ryan has been really bad. Yeah, I'll do that. The offensive line is a big problem for the Falcons right now, and that's kind of what could kill this game from being anything fun. Just sucks. But Jack Lamey, Sam Darnold, or Burrow. Mark Molo, Chase Claypool, Allen Robinson. Greg's film stuff did a great job on the donation. We appreciate that. Ruggs, Corey Davis, Hardman, Rager, Pascal need to start 3. Corey Davis. Man, this one's rough. I'm going to go Corey Davis. Pascal, I think. And then, oh man, I got Ruggs, Hardman, and Pascal all back to back to back. So Corey Davis is definitely one. Must be a very, very deep league. Yeah, Pascal's running a ton of routes, so I'll go with him here. And then the Chiefs are playing the Eagles. They're not good. They just signed Josh Gordon, so Michael Hardman has something to play for now. Not Rager. Definitely not Rager. And the other guy, yeah. So I'll go with Corey Davis, Pascal, and Hardman will be my options there. Let's see. Ryan Lynch as a sleeper, Colin Johnson, Trey Sermon, or Kenyon Drake, flex point PPR. As a sleeper, I'd go with Kenyon Drake. He still has the pass catching chops. Colin Johnson, I really have no idea what his role is going to be. He could do literally nothing, and Trey Sermon could literally also do nothing because he literally split snaps with a fullback. So if you're shooting for ceiling, I'd go Colin Johnson. Kenyon Drake has been just really consistent. Like, he catches passes, so you know you're going to get a floor out of him. But if you need like to shoot for the moon, as weird as it sounds, like I said, Colin Johnson gives you that, but his floor is like literally 0. So I think I'd just go with Kenyon Drake. I'm going to start Beasley over Claypool. If one of those Steelers is active, then yeah. Joe Burrow or Dak Prescott. Carter Payne. Oh, that's from Kois Yee, and then from Nick K for Beasley over Claypool. Carter Payne, Rams or Ravens defense. I'm going to go with the Rams defense. You want to start defenses playing in shootouts, as weird as that sounds, just because they just drop back more weird things. Like, Kyler Murray throws picks like left and right. Like, he doesn't even care. Like, he throws a ton of interceptions. I mean, I played the Jaguars defense in a couple of DFS lineups last week because, like, dude, Kyler Murray just like doesn't care sometimes. He just chucks it. I mean, obviously I got lucky with the 109-yard kick return, but hey, it worked out. So you have to love that. Sometimes the process works in ways that you don't necessarily anticipate it. Santosh Abraham, thank you for their donation. Your question. I guess you don't have a question here. I'm looking, trying to see. Okay. Or that might have been your last question. But again, so people who are just tuning in, again, I'm going over start sit questions. So chat them in, throw them in the chat. I'm going to try to hit as many as I can. I'm slowing down this week. I was apparently talking way too fast last week. I was a little nervous, second or third stream, but now I'm prepped and ready. So anyway, we're doing a live giveaway this Sunday, October 3rd, during the 12 p.m. Eastern kickoff live stream right here on the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. It's courtesy of our friends at pristineauction.com. One lucky subscriber will receive an autographed Alvin Kamara New Orleans Saints jersey. How do you enter? It's simple. Subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube before 12 p.m. Eastern Sunday live stream. Ask a fantasy-related question in the YouTube chat during the show. And that's it. We'll announce the winner at the end of the stream, so you make sure you stick around to claim your prize. Get in there. Alvin Kamara, good player, top 3 running back this week. Get his jersey. H. Caduza, Hedmans or Chuba in full point PPR. That one is close for me. I think I'm going to lean towards Chase Edmonds. I'm going to check the rankings though, because I know sometimes I know when I get the ones that are like right next to each other. I'm just like, oh, I don't want to steer them in the wrong direction, but I also know because they're ranked next to each other, they really are in the same tier, and it really doesn't mean like I am just so sold on a player over another one. I actually have Chuba Hubbard, so Chuba Hubbard higher. Chuba Hubbard. Yes, I'm going to go Chuba there. Roberto Del Regale, half point PPR, 8-teamer. Love it. Who do you flex, Madison, Hubbard, or Allen Robinson? You're going to play Madison if Dalvin Cook doesn't play, no matter what. So 100% there. If Dalvin Cook does play, then I would play in this. What kind of format is this? Half point PPR? Robinson or Hubbard? Let's see. Let's check the old ranks. Always a good litmus test of trying to figure out who to start or sit. Absolutely. Or you can go check out my start or sit article over on pff.com. Has a lot of great little nuggets in there to answer your start or sit questions. Of course, they're literally, Roberto, I don't know if you're looking at my rankings, but they are right next to each other, back to back in the flex rankings in half point PPR with Hubbard, the slight lead. So I'll trust the ranks here. I will go with Chuba Hubbard. Ernie Lonaz, trade Mixon, Brandon Cooks for Aaron Jones or McCaffrey. Yeah, I feel like you should get more, honestly. I mean, Aaron Jones, I think, is good, but I really like Joe Mixon. I feel like you should try to get more back, but I don't hate the move. Giancarlo Picone, half point PPR, Julio Jones or DJ Chark. Julio. Josh Deerding, need 1.5 point PPR, Corey Davis, AB, or Jacoby Myers. I'll go with Antonio Brown. Whew. Luis and Sivo. Trade Carson or Swift. Trade Carson for Swift, 100%. Again, I love these trade questions because it's a good way to kind of test out what people are thinking about doing for trades. And when I see a trade like this is awesome. Like, this is what, if you're listening right now, if you have Chris Carson on your roster, trade. If you can trade him for DeAndre Swift, do that. Like, you should 100% do it. DeAndre Swift is not a sell high candidate. No, false. He has barely even played enough to be a sell high candidate. Like, his he could run into more production. Like, yeah, maybe his efficiency is going to fizzle out, but that can be made up with volume, which he has not been getting. Like, he's been efficient without volume, like kind of like an Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara light. So yes, get Swift. Moss or Chark in the flex. We can go with Zach Moss, J, and that's from Kane Z, JJA, PPR, Allen Robinson, or Tyler Boyd. Allen Robinson. Ivan Cameo, need help. Debo or Jamar Chase in the standard league. I'm still going to roll with Debo. Brad Frene, Juju, or Jalen Waddle. I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle. Jonathan M, Amari Cooper, Antonio Brown, Jamar Chase, Michael Pittman, Ayuk, Renfro, start 4. Okay, I'm going to start Amari Cooper. I'm going to start Antonio Brown. I'm going to start Jamar Chase. I'm going to start Michael Pittman. The top 4 guys there. John Frey, thank you for your donation. Your question, Derek Carr or Lamar Jackson? Lamar Jackson. You still got to start Lamar Jackson. Again, of course, when I got cute with Lamar Jackson, I was like, I had him as my quarterback 9, I think, against like the Chiefs. And I'm thinking, I'm like really being really smart. I'm a savvy fantasy analyst. And then, of course, he finishes quarterback 2 because of the narrative of, well, he's not good against the Chiefs, was just really dumb for me to just buy into. So, yeah, you start Lamar Jackson. He's matchup proof because of the rushing. So, continue to start him. Kyle Smith, thank you for your donation. Your question, off to 1 to start. Need a true wide receiver 1. I'll help you, Kyle Smith. I have DJ Moore, Antonio Brown, Deontay Johnson, Galladay, Chark, Michael Thomas, Judy. Who could I flip and who to target? You need a true wide receiver 1. I guess I'm assuming that's AJ. I think you have a true wide receiver. I think you have DJ Moore. I don't necessarily think that you're looking at your roster and I think that you don't have a guy that is a true wide receiver 1 on your team. I guess if you're looking to try to flip a guy, a player you can get pretty cheap now is Calvin Ridley. Like, he is a wide receiver 1, should be. I know that he's had a slow start the year with Matt Ryan, not necessarily playing super well, but as we've seen, when you get targets, like, you're going to get production. Like, it's going to happen for Calvin Ridley sooner rather than later. So he's a player that I would be going to try and target. A lot of you guys are banged up. I mean, you have guys that have really high target shares, so I don't think that you are in dire straits. But Ridley would be a player I would look at. McLaurin would be a player I would look at. Just kind of looking at my rankings, see like which wide receiver 1s you could potentially target. All right, HV, Jamar Chase or Amari Cooper this week. I'm going to go with Amari Cooper. Codex, pick 2 to start. Claypool, Tim Patrick, or Corey Davis. I'm going to go with Corey Davis and Chase Claypool. Shua Gross, Tannehill, Goff, or Fields. Need 2. I'm going to go with Tannehill and Fields. Jack Arane, do I start Zach Moss or Singletary to fill in for CMC? I would start Zach Moss. Glenn and Amy Weddings, Fournette or Marv Jones in flex. I'm going to go with Fournette. Tavishka Productions, CD Lamb for Joe Mixon. That's so close. I love them both. This is very tearing for me to pick between those 2 players. If you need running back, then yeah, I guess I'll go with that. But I love them both. Joe Mixon is going to be a monster over the next couple weeks. Jags, I think I have Joe Mixon like ranked like, I think he's been RB4 this week. Massive game for Mixon coming in. So yeah, let's just do that. You'll feel great tomorrow because Joe Mixon like scored 30 points for you on Thursday night. You'll be like, man, I'm so smart making that trade. Just like, don't watch the Cowboys game when CeeDee Lamb puts up 45, but you'll feel good about that trade. Peter Menez, start Ayuk or Debo. Half 1 PPR going with Debo. Thank you for your donation, Stephen Beal. Your question is pick 2, Hubbard, Connor, Barber, Jacobs, Singletary, Lindsey. So Barber / Jacobs, you're going to start one of those guys based on whoever is playing. So if Jacobs plays, you're going to start him. If he doesn't play, you start Barber, and then you start Hubbard. Piece of cake. 37 will dog. Zach Ertz or Robert Tonyan. Oh, man. Robert Tonyan is just like, bleh. Like, I said, I'm going to drop him. He's been so bad. He's not involved in the offense. Like, he just has to catch a touchdown. And yeah, I would go Ertz, honestly. Ertz is more involved in his offense, and Robert Tonyan is a complete afterthought. Mo Kaok, is Darrell Henderson a sell high? I think so. I'm not so sure if he really, he missed last week. I just think that now he's already gotten hurt. Like, this was the biggest thing with him. So I really feel like it's hard to envision the Rams just going right back to, all right, he's like the full bell cow again. Like, here we go. And especially because Sony Michel played really well against the Buccaneers. So I think it's more of a split committee than I think we all kind of were hoping. I think that's what we're going to see. So if I can move on from Dale Henderson now, I probably would. Shiitake, Chuba Hubbard, or Chase Edmonds, full point PPR. I think I answered this question already. I think the answer was Hubbard. So I'm going to go with Hubbard again. Thank you, Sebastian Harris, for your donation. Your question. Cordero Patterson, Jamal Williams, Singletary, Edmonds, or Emmanuel Sanders. Start 2. I'm starting Cordero Patterson. Like, that guy's been a top 6 running back the last 2 weeks in PPR. He's got 7 targets in the last 2 games, or in each game. Yeah, I'm rolling Cordero Patterson out like a ton of my leagues. So yeah, I'm starting him, and then Chase Edmonds would be the other guy. Shayna, Ernie, Flex Boyd or Henderson? Boyd. Brunel Jacobs. I got also 2. These flex questions, guys. Make sure you're not putting your flexes. Make sure you're not putting Thursday night players in the flex. Don't want to do that. You want your flex to be your last player, the latest player you're playing. So if you're asking a flex question, make sure that you're putting them into the respective running back or wide receiver slot if you can, based on the times in which the players are playing. Just a strategy. Just gives you more flexibility, like the flex position offers, so you can make more moves depending on what injuries, because weird stuff happens, especially when the times of COVID where guys you think are going to play and then there's like, oh, well, he's out. You want to have that flexibility, like be able to pick up any player and throw them in the flex if, tragedy strikes. Brunel Jacobs, switch to, should I start at flex and non-PPR? Pittman, Beasley, Mooney, or Sermon? I'm going to go with Pittman and non-point PPR. Beasley's kind of useless in non-point PPR. Christopher Hay, I have Jonnu, trade Diggs for Higbee and Godwin. Yeah, you're hurting a tight end. Higbee's had really good usage. So yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Godwin's been really solid. It's obviously a step down from Diggs, but if you're just buried at tight end and Higbee has kind of emerged as an elite option, or at least a reliable option, I like that play. ISMC, Debo, or CD flex? CD. Matthew Bagdaskar? Zach Moss or Javonte Williams? Zach Moss. Chaotic Ash. What do we do with Josh Jacobs? Cry. No, I'm just kidding. Josh Jacobs you can't really sell him because he's a hold. And what I'll say about Jacobs is, it's encouraging that the Raiders are winning all these games, because that's when he's only been good. It's when they win games. So their offense has been above average. I'm just now worried that, are they going to use Peyton Barber with Josh Jacobs? He doesn't have any pass catching role, so he's really more of an early down grinder. But assuming he's healthy, I would probably try to trade him if I could get something good for him back. But he's injured, so I don't really know. I think I would try to look to sell him after a big game, because his upside is just limited based on the fact that he's not a 3-down back. And yeah, so I would wait for a good game and then move off of him. Zach Moss or Hubbard, full point PPR. Hubbard. That's from Scuba243. Jonathan Allers, pick one PPR. Callaway, Corey Davis, Tim Patrick, Devontae Parker, or Will Fuller. Pick one in PPR. I'm going to go with Corey Davis. Joey Mungu. Actually, I think it's actually Will Fuller. Wait, got to check the ranks. I cannot lead you astray, Jonathan. Don't want to do that to you. I know I had them both in my start sit article. I think Will Fuller's the play. Going with Will Fuller. Joey, and he's healthy too. He showed up to practice, so that's great. Great freaking news on a Thursday. Awesome. Joey Mangua, pick one in PPR. Julio Jones, Robert Woods, or Allen Robinson. Going with A-Rob. No, I'm going with Julio. Sorry. Assuming he plays. If not, go with A-Rob. Stretch 5x5. Lockett, Mike Williams, and Lamb need to pick 2. Oh my God. This is man, these questions are always tough when they're just all just stud players. Dude, I hate to bench Lockett because I know he could put up like 1,000 points. And especially because it was like a DK Metcalf week last week. So now it's going to be a Lockett week. Yeah, I'd go with Lockett and Lamb. I know it feels weird to not want to start Mike Williams, but I have those guys ranked higher. So I'm going to go with that. I got Williams and Lockett back to back. Nick Mitchell, thank you for your donation. Should I trade Jamar Chase for Mike Evans and Kenny Galladay? No, I would not do that. Even though I wouldn't do that. It's kind of a lateral move. How do you feel about starting James Robinson tonight? I don't feel great about it, honestly. I think that he is a sell high guy right now. So I would try to be putting out some feelers for him. I don't think that he's going to be that great tonight. The Bengals' run defense is very underrated. It's actually number one in the NFL in terms of rushing yards allowed before contact per attempt. So they have not been allowing a lot of push and movement and space up front. They've been really good. So I'm concerned about Robinson long term. I think that, after his top 5 finish last week, I think it's like, hey, you did great. Like, let's trade you. So I would try to move on from him before he plays tonight. I think that his stock will be significantly less than it was after this week's game. Thank you, Amani Jones, for your donation. They ask, I traded away Debo and Damian Harris for Saquon. Good move. Yes, I like that move. You got an elite running back. I know Debo has been really good, but I think that Barkley just has a top 5 ceiling, which those guys I don't think they necessarily have. At least Damian Harris doesn't have because he doesn't have the pass game work. Pavy Soheta, flex Cooper, Boyd, or Myers in full point PPR. I'm going to go with Cooper. James Sowers, PPR at flex, Mike Williams or Chris Carson. Go Mike Williams. Alex Stevenson, Jamar Chase, or Chuba. Ooh, I think it's going to be Chuba, but I will definitely double check. Jamar Chase or Chuba Hubbard? Chuba Hubbard? I think it's Chuba Hubbard. Man, a lot of Chuba Hubbard questions, but he's in a good spot this week. I like Hubbard to perform up to snuff this week. I think that he'll have a solid game. What is the question between Chase? I got Hubbard way. No, I don't. That's a lie. Jamar Chase is the answer. Jack A, Al Robinson, or Deebo Samuel. I'm going to go with Deebo Samuel. Sebastian Dudek, thank you for your donation. Robert Woods or Kenny Galladay as a wide receiver 2 in half-point PPR. Robert Woods is going to be my guy. Start 1, half-point PPR. Sermon, Pollard, Rondell Moore, Damian Harris, or Kenyon Drake. Start 1, I'm going with Tony Pollard. It's so weird to start Tony Pollard over like a starting running back, but Damian Harris is like, he's not going to do anything against the Bucs. So I can't start him. Chris Wesley, should I trade Robert Woods for AJ Green and Corey Davis? No. Mariano Rojas, hi. Hello. Smiley face. Love the smiley faces. Pick 2, Pittman, Waddle, Claypool, PPR. Where do I... So Claypool, I really don't want to start Claypool if one of those other Steelers receivers plays. So I'll just kind of get that off the bat. So, but if that's not the case, I'll go with Claypool and Waddle. But if Juju's back, Deontay's back, I would bench him and play Pittman and Waddle. Thank you, Ben Davis, for your donation. Half-point PPR, should I trade AB for Damian Harris? Is it Antonio Brown or AJ Brown? If it's Antonio Brown, yes. If it's AJ Brown, no. Ultra Funky, love that name. Ayuk or Waddle, full-point PPR, and rate the trade Ridley or DJ Moore for Tyson Williams. Ridley and Moore? Oh, no. I don't want to get Tyson Williams right now. I will go with Waddle. KD, trade Swift for Tyreek Hill? No. Matthew Carlos, Keenan Allen, or Mike Williams? I guess Keenan Allen. It's so close between those two guys. They've just both been doing awesome. Jonathan Taylor, David Montgomery, Jonathan Taylor from JD Mart. Mike H, trade Cup for Aaron Jones. Man, that is a monster move. I think I would do that. If you want the running back, if you need that running back, then I would do that. Rahesh Mogul Joe. Yo. Drop Michael Carter for Jonnu Smith. PPR. Probably not. I'll probably keep the running back. Carter Payne, thoughts on Tyreek Hill and AJ Brown? Should I look for a trade? Will they pick it up? Yes, I think they will. Alpha wide receivers, super talented. Alex Mencia, thank you for the donation. Trey Sermon, Tim Patrick, Will Fuller, or Cole Beasley, half-point PPR flex. Will Fuller, baby. Will Fuller week is here, folks. I'm excited. Play him in DFS. Play him in your lineups, play him in the flex, and you flex on people when he goes off this week. We only have so many Will Fuller weeks that we can enjoy. And I think that this is going to be one of them. So I love it. I love the play. I know that we have a strong Will Fuller following over at pff.com. A lot of great fantasy analysts over there. So myself included, humble brag. Sammy Carpenter, thank you for your donation. I know Thursday about Boyd or Deontay Johnson. Man, I don't know what the deal with Deontay Johnson is, but I do like Tyler Boyd, so I would play him and risk missing out potentially on Deontay Johnson. But I like Boyd this week. So Dingle Torres, Goddard, or Hooper at tight end. I guess Goddard. Goddard just, it sucks because he's splitting time with Ertz. It's super frustrating. Endgame Zer, Tyler Boyd or Corey Davis, half point PPR. I'm going to go with Boyd. Roshan P. Do I go Woods or Boyd? I would believe I have. I got Woods. I got Boyd. I got Boyd higher. I just think the Boyd is going to get the targets in his offense. Jacksonville is not good. And Robert Woods, we're waiting for him to get the targets. We're like, yeah, it's like going to happen. It's like, well, what if it doesn't? Like, so yeah, I'm going to go with Tyler Boyd. Jan Lever in half point PPR as a flex. Pick 2 CH, OBJ, Hubbard, Tyson Williams, or Robert Woods. Man, okay. So OBJ's 1 and Hubbard. Boom. Patrick Shear. Should I start Chuba or Jamar Chase? Jamar Chase. Greetings from Germany. Love it. Love Germany. I'm actually part German. I've been to Germany before, so I'm glad you're tuned to the stream. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. I'm at Andrew Erickson _ I also answer questions over there when I try to. At least I try to. I try to get to as many as I can, but I'm always swamped. But yeah, if you ask politely, especially if your message stands out and you say hello, or you say, how are you doing? Or, hey, I love your work. Like, that usually goes a long way for me to answer your question, as opposed to just throwing me the names and be like, okay, just tell me the answer. So if you just a little hint. Long live in full point PPR. Deontay Johnson, Robert Woods, Jamar Chase, Odell Beckham start 3. Yeah, it's not Robert Woods. It's Deontay, it's Chase, it's OBJ would be my options. Obviously, we need Deontay to be healthy, but Mark Molo, Allen Robinson, or Chase Claypool in the flex, Allen Robinson, Black Caesar, PPR, Robert Woods, or Jalen Waddle, Robert Woods, Sensation. Ooh, I like that name. Sensation. Pick 2 PPR, A-Rob, MJJ? Marvin Jones. I've never heard him be abbreviated that way, MJJ, but I love it. A-Rob, MJJ, Debo. I'm going to go with A-Rob and Debo. All right. More starts and sits for tonight, referring specifically towards the Thursday night football game. So Joe Burrow should be in your starting lineups. Jags defense is not good. 30th in yards per attempt allowed. 32nd in PFF pass rush grade. Joe Burrow was PFF's highest graded quarterback last week. Super predictive of future performances. Absolutely love him this week. So I want to roll with Joe Burrow. It also means I want to roll with Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd. There is no T. Higgins. Jamar Chase is literally on fire. He catches touchdowns left and right, and he's a big play threat. So they're going to need him. He's going to make some more big plays. And Tyler Boyd has just been super steady. Led the team in target share last week. Scored a touchdown. So I like both those guys. I think they're both wide receiver 2s. So yeah, I think that both those guys are set up to play. James Robinson, the other side, is obviously going to be in your lineup, but I would really, really, really try to sell high on him right now. Like before the game kicks off. Like he was really good against a really bad Arizona defense last week, but the Bengals defense is underrated. It's not as bad as people think or as bad as they were last year. So James Robinson, I would try to, and they gave more, and they just got Carlos Hyde back involved. It's just super annoying. Like he just, I was literally watching the Jags game, and I was like, oh man, that guy looks explosive, and it was Carlos Hyde, and I was like, oh my god, like why is that not James Robinson? So very concerned there. So yeah, I would try to move off of James Robinson, starting Joe Mixon, trade for Joe Mixon if you can before tonight's game. He's gonna have a monster performance, so love him there. A couple questions here. Carlson Charles. Thank you for your donation. Half point PPR, Robert Woods, Elijah Mitchell, Jacoby Myers, or Tony Pollard. I'm going to go with Robert Woods. Tavishka Productions, thank you for your donation. Miles Sanders or Cordero Patterson. I got to go with Miles Sanders. I know it feels so weird, but he's starting running back playing the Chiefs. He should get more than 2 carries. Hopefully he'll get more than 2 carries. Brian Tracy, love your work. Would you trade my Waddle for Robert Woods PPR? See, that's a nice buy low. I like that mindset. Yeah, I think I would do that. Miami's quarterback play has just been like way up and down, and you just want pieces of this Rams offense. What if Cup gets hurt? Something like that happens. Like, oh my God, like Robert Woods to the freaking moon. So Brian Tracy, appreciate the compliment, and I hope that helps. I do like that trade. Khalil Music or Cali Music, Khalil. Thank you for all you do. You guys are awesome. Appreciate that. Half point PPR, need one running back in a flex. Denver Henderson, Sanders, Deontay, and Ayuk. Let me read that again. Half point PPR, one running back and one flex. All right. One running back. I'm going to go with Miles Sanders, and then I'm going to go with Deontay Johnson. Nicholas Lemick. Hey, Andrew, would you rather flex Jamar Chase or Melvin Gordon? Jamar Chase. Eli Martin. Hey, Andrew, big fan. Man, you guys picked up on it. I love it. Do I do Waddle or Jacob/Barber in my flex? I would do Jacob/Barber in the flex. A dash of us, Zeke or James Robinson? Zeke. Matthew Carlos, good morning. Cousins or Tannehill? I think I have Cousins ranked ahead. Cousins, I'm just like, I see it all on paper for him. I see it all on paper for him, but I don't love it, so I'm going to go with Tannehill. I will say if Julio doesn't play, I think that I would probably pivot towards Kirk Cousins. Both the guys are like high-end quarterback twos for me this week, though. Evan Cummings, wide receiver injuries. Can I start Laviska or hit the waiver wire? Hit the waiver wire, Tim Patrick. If you want, receivers that I have ranked ahead of Laviska. Laviska is actually a guy I'm sitting this week. Just the targets have not been consistent. The matchup is not good for him in the slot. He's like the odd man out. Like Chark is getting the air yards. Marvin Jones is getting the actual targets in the offense. So I have big concerns about Laviska. So just some receivers I'm like ranked ahead of him that you can probably get. Tim Patrick is one of those guys. Emmanuel Sanders is one of those guys. Waddle, Ayuk, Pittman, Jacoby, Antonio Brown. Those are all guys I have ranked ahead of Laviska Shenault. Aguilar even probably is actually a better play than Laviska Shenault this week. Dominique Harris, hello. Just subscribed to the channel a few days ago. Nice. Make sure you subscribe to PFF too. Full point PPR, trade Joe Burrow for Cole Beasley and Van Jefferson. Good trade. Yeah, I mean, if you can get depth and there's quarterbacks available, then yeah, trade them for pieces. I love that. David Dressen, Andrew, you're the bomb. Thank you. Appreciate that. Flex, half full PPR, Cordero Patterson, Robert Woods, or Allen Robinson. I'm going with Allen Robinson. Marcel Griffin, thank you for your donation. Your question, trade Chubb and Thielen for Chark, Hunt, and CEH. Chark, Hunt, CEH, Chubb. Nah, I think I would keep Chubb. I think that Chubb is the best player out of the entire deal. You're getting Chark and CH. I don't really want CH. I think I would probably stay. Brandon Vang, better flex, Brandon Cooks or Sutton full point PPR. I'm going to go with Brandon Cooks. It's so close, man. These close questions always destroy me. Okay, full point PPR. All right, this can change it. I know half point PPR. It's close. So maybe making the switch over to full point. We'll see what that does with that. It's still Cooks. I'm chasing the targets. I'm going with Brandon Cooks. It's that way. Trade Monty and A-Rob for Josh Jacobs. No. I would keep both those players. Thank you, Michael Caulfield, for your donation. Need help. Antonio Myers, Boyd, Ayuk, best/worst. I would start Tyler Boyd, Antonio Brown, Jacoby Myers, and then Brandon Ayuk. Jonathan PDJ Chark or AB Sunday night. AB 100,000%. 100,000%. You're starting Antonio Brown. George Harrison looking quite dapper today. Andrew, thank you. Appreciate that. I'm stuck between flexing Damian Harris or maybe Renfro, Connor, or Sermon. I would just play Renfro. The Chargers give up a lot of stuff underneath. So, yeah, Damian Harris is like no upside attached to him. So I would go with Renfro. Q's Gaming B824. Love the show, Andrew. Taylor Pittman or Jamal Williams. Taylor, my flex, full point PPR. Thanks. I go with Taylor. And I think if you're ranking those players, I go Pittman next. I am fake Jesus. PPR, flex, Edmonds, Ayuk, Zach Moss, Pittman. Flex, one of them, Edmonds. Last question. The other Joey. Big fan, huge fan. I got property of Andrew Erickson tattooed on my butt yesterday in PPR. Absolutely great question. There's the last one. Absolutely love it. In PPR, should I flex Fournette, Damian Harris, or J.D. McKissick this week? Going Fournette. I talked about it at the beginning. Fournette could see an expanded role with Giovanni Bernard potentially sidelined. He could see a bigger role in the passing game. And the Patriots have not been a good run defense so far this year. So I like Leonard Fournette. Great way to go out with a bang. The other Joey. Again, thank you all guys for tuning in, but make sure you check out the live giveaway this Sunday, October 3rd, during the 12 p.m. Eastern kickoff live stream right here on the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. Courtesy of our friends at pristineauction.com. One lucky subscriber will receive an autographed Alvin Kamara New Orleans Saints jersey. How do you enter? It's simple. Subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday live stream. Ask a fantasy-related question in the YouTube chat during the show. That's it. We'll announce a winner at the end of the stream, so make sure you stick around to claim your prize. Guys, it's been great. It's been fun. I'll be back next week to answer all of your questions. Thank you. Take care and have a great week 4. And as always, let's go Patriots.